Zara stood at the edge of the human settlement, her blue-scaled hands trembling as she held her youngest child close to her chest. The baby's breathing was weak, and her other two children clung to her worn robes with desperate fingers. They had not eaten in 3 days. The Catherine refugee camps had been destroyed in the latest bombing. Her people were scattered across the galaxy, homeless and starving. But humans had a reputation for being different. They helped others, even aliens they barely knew. The human woman who approached her had kind brown eyes and golden hair tied back in a simple band. Her name was Lisa, and she worked as the settlement's coordinator for alien refugees. "Please," Zara whispered in broken human speech she had learned from old data files. "My children. They are dying." Lisa knelt down to look at the small alien family. Zara's children were thin, their usually bright purple skin now pale and sickly. The youngest could barely keep her eyes open. "Come with me," Lisa said gently. "We'll get them food and medical care." But Zara shook her head. She knew how these things worked. Nothing was free, especially for aliens. "I work," Zara said firmly. "I work your fields, human. You feed my hungry children. That is fair trade." Lisa smiled at the alien woman's pride. Even in her desperate state, Zara wanted to earn what her family needed rather than simply receive charity. "The harvest season starts tomorrow," Lisa explained. "But the work is hard. Our crops grow in soil that can burn alien skin. The sun here is harsh." Zara lifted her chin with determination. "I am strong. My people worked metal mines on 7 worlds before the war came. I can work your fields." The next morning, Zara reported to the agricultural supervisor, a weathered human named Betty who had been farming for 40 years. Betty looked at the tall, slender alien woman with concern. "You sure about this, honey?" Betty asked. "We've had other species try fieldwork here. Most can't handle it." But Zara was already reaching for the harvesting tools. Her children had eaten their first real meal in weeks the night before, and she would do whatever it took to keep them fed. The first day nearly killed her. The human crops grew in acidic soil that made her scales itch and burn. The sun's radiation was too intense for her homeworld genetics, leaving her dizzy and weak. But every time she felt ready to collapse, she thought of her children's grateful faces as they ate warm soup in the refugee center. Betty watched the alien woman struggle through the day, impressed by her determination. When other workers took breaks, Zara kept working. When the lunch bell rang, she ate quickly and returned to the fields before the others. "She's going to work herself to death," one of the human farmhands told Betty. But Betty had seen that look before. It was the look of a mother who would move mountains for her children. By the end of the first week, Zara had earned enough credits to secure better housing for her family. The refugee center had given them a small apartment in the settlement. Her children were gaining weight and starting to play with other refugee kids. But the work was taking its toll on Zara. Her scales were becoming dull and cracked. She moved slower each morning, though she never complained. Lisa visited the fields one afternoon and found Zara working alone in the hottest section, where even the human workers avoided going during peak sun hours. "Zara, you need to take breaks," Lisa said. "This heat could seriously hurt you." Zara looked up from the plants she was harvesting. Her golden eyes were tired but determined. "Human children also need food," she said simply. "These crops feed your people too. I work as hard as any human would." That evening, Betty called a meeting with the other supervisors. "That alien woman is outworking every human on my team," she announced. "She's been here 2 weeks, and she's already learned techniques that take our people months to master." Word began to spread through the settlement about the alien refugee who refused to accept charity and insisted on earning her way through backbreaking farm work. Other refugee families began to take notice. If Zara could do it, maybe they could too. Soon, more aliens were requesting work assignments instead of just taking aid. The settlement's productivity increased as refugees contributed their unique skills and perspectives to various jobs. But Zara remained in the fields even as other opportunities opened up for her. When Lisa offered her a cleaner job in the settlement's administrative offices, Zara politely declined. I made promise, she explained. I work your fields, you feed my children. Promise is not finished until harvest is complete. The harvest season was brutal that year. Storms damaged crops, and disease threatened entire sections of farmland. The human farmers worked day and night to save what they could. Zara worked alongside them, her alien knowledge of plant biology proving invaluable. Her people had been farmers on their homeworld before becoming miners, and she remembered techniques her grandmother had taught her as a child. She showed the humans how to create natural barriers against crop disease using methods from her homeworld. Her innovations saved nearly 30% of the threatened harvest. When the final harvest numbers came in, the settlement had produced more food than any previous year. Betty stood before the community assembly with pride. This year's success belongs to all of us, she announced, but I want to recognize someone special. Sarah, the Kethran refugee who asked for nothing but the chance to work for her children's food, has become one of our most valuable farmers. Sarah stood in the back of the room, her children beside her. They looked healthy and happy now. Their purple skin bright and their eyes full of life. She didn't just work our fields, Betty continued. She improved them. She taught us new ways to protect our crops and increase our yields. She kept her promise to work hard, and in return she's helped us feed not just her children, but our entire community. The room erupted in applause. Zara felt tears in her eyes, but they were tears of gratitude rather than desperation. After the meeting, Lisa approached Zara with an official document. The Settlement Council has voted, Lisa said. We're offering you permanent residency and a position as our agricultural development specialist. You've earned it. Zara looked at the papers, then at her children who were playing with human kids nearby. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to smile. I accept, she said. But I keep working the fields too. That is where I learned that humans keep their promises just like I keep mine. Years later, the settlement became known throughout the sector for its innovative farming techniques and successful integration of refugee populations. Other communities sent delegations to learn their methods, but the story they always told visitors was about the alien mother who asked only to work for her children's food, and in doing so, showed both humans and aliens what true partnership could look like. Zara's children grew up bilingual and bicultural, equally at home with human technology and Kethran traditions. They became bridges between species, carrying forward their mother's legacy of hard work, dignity, and mutual respect. The fields where Zara first worked became known as the Promise Fields, and a small monument was erected there with a simple inscription in both human and Kethran languages. She said, "I'll work your fields, human. Just feed my hungry children." And so began a friendship between worlds.